Son of a bitch. I was muted that entire time. So, okay, guys, we're kicking it off. Damn it, I got to repeat all that kind of stuff. So we're back again. This is going to be course number 5 on day number 2, and we're going to start off with Jaisnator's course, which is Parque de Golf Chapultepec. Piss on you guys if you're going to try to make me say that over and over and over during this stream. It's Chapultepec. I know how to say it. I actually know a little bit about the Mayan and Aztec culture, so piss on all of you. Before we get started, always make this kind of little, speech beforehand. I don't know how I'm going to shoot on the course. Sometimes I'm decent, sometimes I'm good, sometimes I absolutely suck. I'm not here to necessarily play this. Fuck you, Royce. I'm not necessarily here to score well on it. I'm looking around the course, figuring out what works, what doesn't, all that kind of fun stuff. Secondly, whatever I score on this has no bearing on the judging, has no bearing on whether or not this is a CC approved course. What I shoot is what I shoot. So there's other things that, play into that. Thirdly, I'm going to make comments during the stream. If I point something out as a technical issue, you're just going to have to chalk it up to being a technical issue. It's something you're going to be gigged on because the other judges are going to point out the exact same things when they do their judging on these courses. Now, otherwise, I'm going to make a lot of comments during these streams, and don't take offense to them. Take them for what they're worth. All I'm doing is giving my views as a fellow designer. This is my first time playing any of these courses. I'm always giving my initial views and impressions. I see things as a designer that I'm like, you know what? If you did this or you did that, might make it play a little bit better, might make it look a little bit better. It's just my opinion. Take it for what it's worth. There's no reason to get upset about it. I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just pointing certain things out. If you do have a problem with my stream, that's fine. You're welcome to disagree with me. I don't expect everybody to agree with me. But please don't come back on the forums and get in the threads and, start going off, in the thread and, being that guy. And don't PM me a bunch of, nasty little notes and everything else. Nothing good ever comes of that. They're just comments. Take them for what they're worth and move on. Either you agree or don't. So since Royce doesn't know what course this is Parque de Golf Chapultepec by Jaisnator. Fuck you, Royce. And yes, this is an adult show, so every once in a while I'm going to say a dirty word. If you're easily offended or have young children watching, then I'm sure Barney is on Nickelodeon or PBS or something. There are shows out there more conducive to clean living than this. Yeah, I got your course name right here, Royce. Parque de Golf Chapultepec by Jaisnator. Trying to figure out exactly how to play it, because even if I go to the left over here with that landing area, I guess I'll clear that tree, but I could potentially be behind it, even with a 6-mile-an-hour wind. I mean, gut instinct, if I were to play, yeah, there you go. Parque de Golf de Viva la Mexico y Chimichangas. I did not know that it was an RCR. I thought they played the WGC at El Camaleon. That's down in Cancun. But what do I know? Yeah, I think he was just giving a backstory and all that. I'm pretty sure that the actual WGC. I mean, they may play it there. I don't watch that part of the season. I know that they play one of the bigger tournaments in Mexico at El Camaleon. So Well, instead of it being Parque de Golf de Chapultepec, we will call it Parque de Golf de Viva la Mexico y Chimichangas. Of course, I get a fast swing right there. I feel like I need a mariachi band. As the official judging, changed the name from Parque de Golf de Chapultepec to Parque de Golf de Viva la Mexico y Chimichangas. Yes. Yes. It's all about the love of chimichangas, man. Where the hell you been hiding, Seth? Holy shit, he put a rake in a bunker. He put a rake in a bunker. Don't you know that cost you contest? Go ask Bradley Stewart what happens to your course when you put a rake in a bunker. Oh my God. Oh my God. You put a rake in a bunker. Automatically disqualified. Here we go. So lots of practice, lots of perfect, automatically fast. Swing's not different. But, oh well. Oh well. I like 51-foot putts at minus a foot. Anyway, who doesn't? Why do I suck? What makes me suck is I spent the first 5 minutes of the broadcast muted and didn't know it. Oh no, dude. Internet went down. Everything crashed on me. I'm sorry. I meant to message you today. I couldn't even message you from my phone last night because, well, I guess I could if I would turn Wi-Fi and everything off. But everything just completely died on me last night as far as connection. We got some pretty bad thunderstorms going on. I can't help Comcast, man. I can't help Comcast. Tell you what, Josh, I probably would have not included this hill right here on the left. This hill right here takes away from it because you're effectively shielding those bunkers. I get you're going for a very realistic field or feel on this course. It would have had a little bit nicer look off the tee box right here without that hill right there on the left. Another personal recommendation, and this is just an opinion, I would have gone with a different color sand. If you go with like, what is it, brush number 13 on sand, where it's that like lighter white with pink hues, I think it would have matched this up just a little bit better. That sand kind of blends into the surrounding terrain. It doesn't give you a lot of visual contrast, if that makes sense, but that's just a personal opinion. Perfect. Holy crap, it actually worked. It actually came off perfect. I'm determined that before I get to the end of all these contest courses that I'm going to have this new and improved swing whipped because it has gone to shit on me. I'll tell you what, man, just about everything around Mexico City is pretty filthy. Pretty filthy. I don't have a problem with the buildings and everything in the background. Personally, just to give a little bit of visual cue in the back, I would have done some tree work or something. I mean, layered some trees in that area, done something to kind of break it up. Because at this, it kind of falls very flat compared to everything else you have going on. I mean, you have a nice clean look, but that kind of falls a little bit flat with your background, especially when you zoom in on it. Just looks like a big wide open space. Bum, bum, bum. I honestly don't know if rakes. I honestly don't know if rakes make any kind of difference in play in this game or not. I will have to test that out. Hmm. I mean, so far it has a very realistic feel to it. I mean, it kind of looks and plays like a real golf course. But I would personally recommend a little bit of dressing over here on the side with some of the buildings and everything. Otherwise, it's just a big. I mean, even in a urban downtown area, you're going to find planting and stuff in between areas. So I would personally dress it up just a little bit, just to make it not fall so flat on that side of it. That's just a personal choice. See, this is 478. You're going to want to be careful right here. Tour clubs, this probably isn't as big of a deal because they're going to carry most of that. But you're going to be careful with people using player clubs pinching this landing area right here, only because it's a 478 yard hole. I don't have a problem with somebody doing that on like a 410 yard hole or anything less than that. I think it's perfectly fine because then you have options to club down. But with a certain wind, you don't want to force driver out of the hand of a player on a hole of this length. Oh, okay, never mind. Fuck me. It's a par 5. I didn't even look at that. I just looked up and saw 478. So forget everything I just said. I'm an asshole. Just for that, I'll put myself in the bunker. Okay, I'm not going to put myself in the bunker. Sorry, man. I'm going to pay more attention. I'm looking around at other stuff when I'm sitting there talking. I didn't even look up at par. I did not even look up at par. So I'll try to get myself under control here. I didn't really stop and think about this being like, what is it, a 6,700 yard course, somewhere around about there? I mean, it's not long. It was rather short even from these tees. However, I'm going to make a mockery of this par 5. I'm doing everything I can to par this. 161s. Cool looking hole right here, Josh. I would honestly go back and make a tournament edition of this and throw a couple of extra tee boxes on there, like give this course some length and dress up some of these areas. Just to give yourself a chance on some of the higher up tours, because I could see this playing on Euro would eat it up, given that it's a Mexican course and everything. Hell, even um, Dale would use it for like the Mexican that'll come around, and I mean beginning in the season next year. So you'd have to add a little bit more bite to it than what I'm seeing right here. I think all day I've been telling people they need to raise bunkers and everything else. I probably would have exaggerated the lips on these a little bit more just because that's my style, but you've done a good job with your bunkers there on the left. This is exactly what I've been telling other people all day, is to give your course some depth, to elevate your bunkers a little bit and show them off and not hide them down in there. I probably would have done a little bit deeper sculpting on the bunkers right there. You did a really good job up against this side of it. I probably would have, going into this area right here, deepen that a little bit, made it a little bit more penal on that. But once again, just a personal thing of mine. I really like the shape of this hole, though. That's very cool looking. I especially would have deepened that middle bunker up against your green complex right there. I like the look of this, but just to really set this off, you're doing some great things with your bunkers. This is almost the next step, is what I'm going to call it, is taking from the bottom of this pan right here, make this area right here, give this area the same depth that you have over here. You want that to be just about even. That makes for a very dramatic bunker, and I mean, it's not going to come into play very often. You have to hit a pretty bad shot to come into play right there. But definitely increases the intimidation factor of looking at that green complex right there. And with the way your light's hitting that, it will give it so much more depth. It just gives it a really sharp look going into that green. Once again, just my own personal take, nothing more. Oh, I was a yard shy of where I wanted that ball to be. I actually had it going exactly where I wanted it to. I'm digging your greens. They're not overdone. They've got enough movement in them to make it interesting. Even more interesting when I hit chips like that. Uh-oh. I feel a bogey coming up right here. I feel a bogey coming up right here. Nope, it's going to go in. Whew. Boy, I didn't know that I was going to be able to negotiate that double break right there or not. I'm liking your bunkering, Josh. It's like I said, a lot of what I'm telling you right there, I think is just the evolution of where you're going to go from where you're at to where you are. You put out good solid courses. They're very clean, and this is no exception. It's now coming down to the finishing touches, and I can see areas where you've actually stepped it up and you're trying some new things here and there. And once again, bunkers are a very personal thing, if there is such thing for a designer. We all have different ways we do our bunkers. I tend to like to do a little bit more dynamic styling on my bunkers, only because I feel like that when you do it in the right places, it adds so much depth to a hole, especially around the greens. Fairway bunkers, I'm a lot less critical about because they're not necessarily meant to be deep and menacing and all that. Fairway bunkers are meant to be played out of. So when you make fairway bunkers that are really deep and everything else, it better be a really short hole. Otherwise, you can be tagged with, well, that's not realistic, because you don't see that a lot on most courses. But up against your greens and everything, you absolutely do see the deep punishing bunkers. And a lot of times when they're recessed correctly and laid in the right way, it just adds so much character to the actual green without it changing gameplay at all. It just adds a little bit to it. And that's the only reason I'm bringing it up, that I think you're kind of at that point that, just a little bit of finishing right there. If you incorporate some of those techniques into what's going on, you have just a really kick-ass looking hole. I mean, even a hole like this, when you look at it, there's not necessarily a lot going on visually. You've got a good break in your sight line to the left with the grove of trees over there. I like that. You're pretty wide open to the right, and you can let that stand, but you need something in the middle to catch your attention. To keep the right from being a distraction. Now, you've actually got up here in the middle, you've got the creek or the dry area up here, but it's not necessarily visual off the tee. You see a couple of bushes, so it's not something that breaks up your sight line. But if you had that green elevated about 5 more feet, and you had those bunkers laid in and recessed and very sharply contoured in there, it definitely grabs your attention, not only from the tee, but you're going to see it down here as a lot more intimidating shot. But once again, it's just my opinion, man. Just my opinion. Just take it for what it's worth. It's just stuff I look at and the way I see it. That's nothing more than the way I see things as a designer. It has nothing to do with the judging on this course. Now, see, you get down here and you see your dry creek, but which I actually like. I'm a big fan on any course of looking over grass on shots like that. That gives it a very natural feel to it because I do see this on real courses. Man, I guess I should not have lofted that club, and I damn sure guess I should have played it for a 20-mile-an-hour wind right to left because that 5-mile-an-hour wind, if you look at where I aimed on that, blew that ball a long freaking way. I'm completely off my chipping right now. How's you, Mrs. Griff? I'm good. I'm hanging in. I applaud the fact that Jives has obviously given some attention to his cart path over here. These are not easy to work with in TGC2, but it looks like he's taking some effort to try to go in and flatten them out and fix what he can on them. There are ways to fix some of the kinks and everything else, but it is very time intensive. So I think I made a comment last night in D-Dog's stream on his course that I'm not going to be as hypercritical of cart paths. What? Hold on 1 second. I tell you what, I am so against animal cruelty. It's not even funny, but I am within a fucking eyelash of taking an electrical cord and whipping the shit out of my dog with it because she keeps on chewing through my damn phone chargers. 3 in 2 days. 3 phone charging cords in 2 days, and I don't have a normal USB plug on my phone charger. It's like one of these new ones that Verizon's come out with. Oh man, that pisses me off. So now I get to have a dead phone tomorrow. Yay. Wait, I'll be back right for 1 second, guys. I gotta chill out for just 1 second. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that, guys. My rhythm completely broken on that. Oh, so I'm on the tee here, right? I was going along pretty nice right there, but that completely just tweaked my ass out. And it's going to take me a few holes to get my blood pressure back down. Cannot believe damn dog keeps chewing on electrical cords. And she's eventually going to electrocute herself. That's what's going to happen. Kind of an interesting hole the way this one plays. Okay, what in the hell do we have going on with the water right here? Is that a water feature on top of water? Trying to give it a look? That's a little bit different. It's a very shallow pond. Oh, of course I missed that putt. I almost need to go back and look at that again because I aimed pretty far right on that for what it was for a 6 foot putt. But oh well. Welcome to putting in TGC 2, where 4, 5, and 6 footers can be harder than 15 footers. So I guess in the morning, instead of getting up and playing courses, I'm going to go out and buy a new charger. Pins really close to being illegal on this one, Jives. Yeah, I don't know. I thought I was dead on it, but it sure enough missed low. When you do a front pin, you always want to try to be at least 3 boxes off. The closest you want to be is on that back line of that third box from the edge of the green. So we're getting really close to illegal on that one. I realize with it being a shorter hole that we can play it into to different areas, but you want to be careful with that. Well, my idea was to play it back into that hill a little bit and let it feed back down, but that didn't quite happen, did it? Nope, not quite. My dude's very happy about that putt. We really need a way to turn those damn animations off. I'm sick of seeing them. That's just ridiculous. Well, I probably would have filled this area in a little bit down here. That's almost a little bit too bare looking with what we have going on there. Pick up that background from back here. So that's a good job with the sight line of picking up back here, but probably still would have done some fill kind of over and around here. It has a little bit of an incomplete feel to it from right there. Yeah, Darcy, you can walk around here and mope if you want to. You're a bad dog. Bad dog. Go there and lay down. She is very unhappy with me because she got scolded, and she rarely gets scolded for anything. I don't think she knows how to handle that at this point. A little bit slow on my backswing right there. Cost me probably about 6 yards on my drive. Another short par five. Oh no. Oh wait, we must be on hole number 10. Here come the fast downswings. Here they come. Here they come. The front left bunker right here looks a little bit off. I don't know why. It looks a little bit weird to me from my eyeball on the flyover. A little bit of a different shape for a fairway, but I can live with that. That's Kind of unique design. This right here is a little bit, I'm not sure about it. Personally, I would make this bunker wider. Shape of it's not bad, but make it wider and tone this down. That's a little bit extreme. You can still keep a good size hill right there, but you want to smooth it off more to your left and your right, right there, to kind of make it fit. But right there has a little bit of a different feel to it. Interesting hole. Definitely place to be driven. We're not going to play with that putt right there too much. I just want to get it down here and have a shot at this. And that's even further away than I wanted it to be. Swear it looks like there's right to left break in that. Mm-mm-mm. Neat hole in concept. You need a little bit of heavy rough in around this, to be honest. It comes off a lot more drab than I think even you want it on this. Probably would have greened that out a little bit, and then blended it in and let it move off into your drab colors. That's almost a little bit too brown given the background with the brick and everything. I think that's what's throwing me off on the contrast I had. You didn't have the building behind there. It was just trees. It probably wouldn't stick out as much. But your colors on your raw texture right there are too similar to the brick in the background. Makes for a very drab color palette. And that was just a shit shot. I knew that was going to be a shit shot. Ah, I should have birdied that. It's a cool little hole with the way this cuts back. It's almost a double dog leg. It's not a double dog leg, so I like it. Plays way out to the left, but then moves back to the right with the way the pins, with the greens cut back in there. So that's kind of a cool look. You have to be careful of the hills on this, not to block your views too much, but that's a pretty cool looking hole. Definitely making us play a lot of different clubs out of your bag as well, and that's always a good thing. Boy, I just don't know where I was going to stop that ball. I don't want to loft that up anymore. And where did I come in at? Not right in there. Thanks. So on this circle bunker you've got down here, semi-pot bunker, be a little bit more aggressive with that on that back lipping. You don't have to mess with anything else on it, just where you've got your cut right here. Go through and raise the rough area starting about right here, and you'll have to smooth it down coming into that to the front area. But right here, raise this up by a foot all the way around that backhand side to the corner over here, and then smooth it down in the front. I think you'll be surprised what that will do to the look of it, especially off the tee. Gives you a whole different look. It's not overdone. It's not over exaggerated. Should give it a nice cool look to it. I'm going to do my best to get in it. I mean, it's definitely a very mellow, no frills kind of course. It's very clean. Few areas thus far you could have dressed it up a little bit and improved it, but I mean that's very ticky-tack stuff. It's very minor in what I'm looking at. Damn, still lofted too much. That went right over the outside right of that hole. Didn't even move, and it went over the top of the hole. That's great. Nice hole. Yep, I can definitely see this being on tour. Right now, I'd probably peg it for CCM, but it's very solid. Ooh, well, we got a lot of yellow and red working on this one, don't we? What we got here? 206 yard par 3. So we got some length to it. We've got a fall off to the right, off that little shelf there. We probably have one pin up here in the corner, probably have one pin over here in this area. Be curious to see where you put the other pin on this. Probably, I'm going to guess, like right here in the middle for this hill. So front right, front left, front middle. I don't know where you'd pin up back here in this corner. That starts getting dicey for a shot of this length. What's up, Big Taco? What's up, Kessler? Yeah, that's what I was looking at, Giles. I'm trying to figure out pin placement. I mean, it's a good sized green, but a lot of it's closed off from about right in here from the middle, and this whole left corner is completely done off. So I figured it was going to have to be front right, front left, and not necessarily front, but like right here in the center as we're moving back, just short of this hill. The only pins that make sense on that. So how can we use this slope here to help us? How can we use it to help us? See, we're 216 with that wind. We're going to flip that up a little bit. And we hit a fast swing, so hopefully it helps us a lot. We get a kick off that and see if it'll roll down in there. Probably not. This is going to be one hellaciously fun putt. I don't know, Luds. I'm going to be honest. If you really like Tiger Woods, if that's kind of like where your cream is, this isn't going to fill that itch. This is not arcade golf at all. At all. Boy, this is nasty right here, Josh. Woo! I mean, it was my shot that put me there, but this is nasty. This is more of a golf sim game, Luds. So it's got some great courses, got some great designers, because most of the courses are done by actual other players in the game. But it's a little bit different. That's definitely an interesting hole. Well, I'd like to have seen how that green played had I not hit fast on my downswing right there. That was all completely on me. I haven't been hitting fast downswings tonight, but for whatever reason I did that time. Earlier today, anytime I aimed left, it was fast. This is an interesting little bender on this. What do we got going? Yeah, that's what I was trying to do, is play it off to the left and let it the slope kind of do the work on this. Tell you what, I would have been a little bit smoother on this bunker here on the front. It's a good idea. It's just a little bit off. I think it's this front mound is throwing me off a little bit. I probably would have made the bunker come out to the left a little bit more, like out here where part of this mound is, and smooth that down and just let this be a ridge right there. It probably would have looked pretty cool, but something about that off the tee is a little bit eye jarring. Now, let's see what hidden secrets we can find on this. Like, I can completely drive that, can't I? Well, we're about to find out. If I end up in the rough, it's not going to be the worst thing in the world that happens. I can live with that. Man, that went a lot further. That went a lot further than I thought it was going to. Piss on you very slow. Yeah, this is actually one of the better looking holes around the green complex. That looks very cool. I don't know if you're up against it on the plant meter or not, but I wish you would have done some more of this in around some of the other holes instead of some of the bare look. Especially on that last par three. Had you done this, makes a completely different hole, man. Completely different hole, but I like that. That's sharp. That is very, very sharp. I'll tell you what, this is kind of tricky right here too. Nope, I wasn't gonna make it because of that break right there in front of the hole. Oh yeah, no, I got you. I hate to hear that stuff's going on down through there. My wife was in San Antonio as of Thursday night. We got her out of there as fast as we could Friday morning. So I was really worried about how that was going to play out. I know Eric, he's in AIRIK, Eric 3333. He's in San Antonio. He says they haven't really been affected by it thus far, but Houston and everywhere south of there, man, they are just getting belted. So we finally hit the 18th. We got here. Okay. Why do I feel like I'm playing with fire on this, hitting this with a full drive? Yep. Yeah, they're going to have some rough goes of it for a while. Oh, is that going to come on? Feedback down on the green right there. Roll from it, baby. Roll. Man, even lofted and a half swing right there. That ball carried that damn far. Hmm. 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 So, good solid course on this one, Jives. There's not much I can add to it. There's some areas that can be cleaned up. I realized you had some limitations with time going on with that. There's a few areas that feel a little bit unfinished because of it. Some of the bunkering that I talked about, just giving some added depth to your bunkers now. But outside of that, just a really good, solid, clean course that I can definitely see being used on tour in the very near future, actually. But yeah, well, it was an edge for what it was. I probably could have shortened up and I could have clubbed down and let it roll out a little bit more, but I chose to go with the full 245 on that. And I was running that risk, but I still like the way it plays. Yeah, I mean, it gives you some different options on that second shot of how you want to play it. But yeah, man, this was a very good, impressive effort that came out of this. So it'll be fun to see how this does in the judging. So, other than that, guys, I'm going to go ahead and cut this stream and get this uploaded and exported to YouTube so I can post it in the thread. And I'll be back in about 5 minutes with another course. What are you saying?